Time to take it to the dirt. This is Slingin Dirt, 1 hour of dirt track talk. Now, here are Ashley and David Stremme.
Good morning. It is Short Track Tuesday here on Slingin Dirt. We're going to talk a lot about a little bit of everything today. Sprint cars, maybe just a little bit, somewhat in there. But we have what? Why are you looking at me like that?
I don't know where you got all your energy from, but all of a sudden blew out my ears. We've been sitting here talking, and all of a sudden I was like, bam!
Hey, you be
Where'd that
prepared.
come from?
It's time to get ready. We're talking about late models, modified, sprint cars,
Yeah.
doing it all. Joining us on the show today, we have Brett Root. He is the boss man of the IMCA series. He's going to talk a little bit about...
IMCA, yep, over everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
I said he's the boss man, didn't I?
It's more a sanctioning body than a series. But.
Okay, there you go. And he's probably going to talk about the Boone Iowa Super Nationals coming up in just a few short weeks. They get 600-plus cars, so I'm excited to hear what he has to say about what it takes.
I'm pissed off.
Why?
Because it's the same weekend as the World 100,
Oh.
So now I'm going to go to Knoxville. But the World 100, I'm like, why are they scheduling them races? You know, Jesus
It's
Christ.
two different series. And we got Billy Pauch Jr. joining us. He's the kid's kid. Some of you know as Papa. He raced sprint cars, and now he's racing big blocks. And he wins at Kutztown in New Egypt this weekend.
He did.
And last but not least, Shannon Babb is going to join us on the show again. He is the topless winner. And I don't mean shirtless.
Second time.
I just mean no
in
roof.
Batesville for the Lucas Oil.
Mm-hmm.
And
he's 40 grand richer.
I was like, I would have never, and I don't mean this, I'll tell him, you know, I was like, wow, I watched him there at Falls and for the Prairie Classic, and I felt like he, all of a sudden, it's like, bam, where'd this come from, you know?
Hey.
I mean, and it's awesome. I mean, I'm happy because, you all see me wear my Shannon Babb shirt a couple weeks ago. And
what do they say? Every squirrel finds a nut?
no, he runs good.
kidding.
It's his second win. So,
But I want to shout out to Mike Marlar
Mike
and
Marlar.
Dale McDowell, who were both on the show last week. They
How about
also
that?
finished second and third. So pretty cool sweep there on the
Brandon
podium.
Shepard or Pearson. You know, I was kind of surprised, and I'm going to work on this. We need to have Clint Boyer on the show. I was disappointed when Lucas Oil had their time off. You know, Davenport and them were up running World Outlaws, and Owens and some of the other guys, but Bloomer and that. And the Boyer camp kind of just, I thought they were regrouping and doing stuff. Man, they didn't, I'm looking at the rundown here.
Francis was in there.
Francis is, he ran.
Was what, 8th or 9th?
He finished.
I don't have the rundown in front of me.
9th.
Okay.
And
I'm
O'Neill
glad
was
you counted
11th.
there.
Yeah, I was just looking. But, I mean, and I'm not saying they're in bad company. Dennis Erb Jr.'s there. Davenport had problems.
Hey, but let's be honest. The competition's pretty tight.
Wrong answer. You know why I'm going to tell you that? Because they have great resources. They have Don O'Neill and Steve Francis are no slouches.
But
Barry
money,
Wright.
but money doesn't buy wins.
Stop.
No.
Barry Wright and them are very sharp guys. Something ain't right there. And that's what I want to find out. And Clint, he's busy doing his job with driving, but somewhere we got to get some answers. I'm disappointed in them guys. And I mean,
well, I'm not
it's just
disagreeing
something
with you.
that I know they're working hard. They Barry and them are doing really, really a lot of work, and Lance and his boy and them down at the Barry Wright Chassis. But I just was surprised, I thought they would come out harder, and who knows, maybe there's some other stuff went wrong. But anyways, I thought for sure they would run better. I'm a little disappointed.
Well, you can be disappointed, but you know as well as I do, every year a driver either hits a high or he hits a low or he has a mediocre season. It's just the way it is in racing. And unfortunately, the Boyer camp is struggling right now.
Yep.
But like I said, money doesn't necessarily buy wins. Just because you have the best of the best doesn't mean you can win a race.
Here this fall, World 100, Dirt Track Finals, I mean, the Hillbilly, all these races, all right? The I don't know what they're calling it at Portsmouth, the 100,000 to win Lucas Oil race. But
the
anyways,
World Championship.
World
the
Championship.
Finals,
Okay.
World Finals.
The thing, Josh Richards won 2 races this weekend, and listen, I heard he's in Michigan up at Kaiser's. They were doing a little work. They went to work after they got their butt beat by Rumley and Davenport, and it'll be interesting to see them line back up. You've got Rick Eckert here. I was just looking at his picture. He ended up winning.
His new race car.
Brand new Longhorn he got. So it was like, wow, they're up to his program too. So there's a lot of guys working and doing things, and I that's why I just felt that time when they were down there that the Boyer camp could have been, a little more probably positive. But for the folks that are at home that don't know a lot about the workings of a race car, it doesn't take like 2 weeks. It takes a month or two. They're developing stuff and doing things. So, we'll just see what happens with all of that. But I was, again, I was kind of surprised, that they didn't run better. But there's a lot of other guys. Lanigan, you haven't heard nothing about him here lately. He's working tough. But I think that was a Club 29 car that Babb was in. So, he's not like he's sitting in limbo somewhere. He's working hard on his stuff. So, a lot of guys, and I think you'll see it towards the end of this year. There's a lot of big races coming up. People want to close out the year strong. World Finals will be a big race because it's not, as we've said, a big money-paying race, but it's big prestige. Right here in Charlotte.
Bragging rights.
Bragging rights. You got sprint cars there. You got the big block school bus cars, they call them, or what do they call them things? Bus dirt busters or something, but it's always funny. I love it, and I don't mean to pick on the big block guys because I love watching their cars. Everybody knows that.
And I love it when people pick on you. So.
Oh, yeah. I hate a modified be called an E-mod. I can't stand that, which we'll have to talk to Brett about that because I'm like it. But anyways, the thing is the late models, there's the competition is unbelievable right now. And the work, I still believe that Davenport and Rumley are on top, very, very strong.
Well, now you're contradicting yourself because just a minute ago I tried to say the exact same thing you just said, that the competition was tight, and you're like, no.
It is, but it's not. The same guys are up top. I'll be honest, Landers was really good, which is in his backyard, and I thought he would have probably been better than what he was because I know they were testing and doing things. But I'm surprised Bloomer didn't run good. But again, folks, this is it doesn't happen overnight. I know with our deal, we've worked on stuff for a month or two, and then you'll finally hit on some things. You go, okay, I understand this now.
Well, and Kenny Wallace, I think, is a perfect example of that. At first, he didn't really like our car, when it came out, and now he loves the thing.
Yeah, he runs second at Lima Land.
It's just a matter of working on it.
The thing that is hard for what I've seen in the dirt versus asphalt. Asphalt, you can go, all right, we're going to buy 20 sets of tires here. We're going to go up here to local track or do something. We're going to test all day. And then you can test the next day. In dirt, it's very hard to simulate the atmosphere of the racing. Now, some tracks, and you'll see this a lot, that afterwards guys will stay around and test at night and do stuff. So I don't know. There's a lot going on there, but the big win for Shannon Babb, though. I mean, I love it.
Yeah.
Good for him. I like seeing different winners.
Oh, absolutely. But speaking of winners, they're still the same names here. We're still Fergie, Richards, Eckert.
Yep.
In the big blocks, it was still Shepard, Go Down, Friesen. Although
Jacob Hawkins.
Yeah,
he
absolutely.
Won again. But I got to give a shout out. Hang on. And I know he drives one of our cars, Dan Davies, who is Shane Clanton's brother-in-law. They were up there together. He was leading, and he ended up screwing up in traffic, and Jacob got him. They said it was a whale of a race. But it was funny because Ron, Dan's dad, he says, well, you kind of gave that one away. So it was pretty neat to see him run second and then had Rich Michael third in that race.
Mm-hmm. But Jimmy Phelps, he picked up the win for Brett Hearn's Big Show 7. He was going to join us today.
Al Hankey and Tommy Baldwin's team.
Yeah, unfortunately, he had a other conflict.
That's a guy that I haven't heard a lot of.
Jimmy Phelps.
Yeah, so maybe he's
back on it.
I mean, it's so hard, and that's the thing that I've noticed. Dirt racing is, the role that Davenport and them on is phenomenal. Shots, in the sprint car world. But you'll see guys that get on a little spout, I call, maybe 4 to 6 weeks, and then all of a sudden they're off. And it's funny because I've heard some guys, they say, well, we're not going to run here a week or two, or we're going to go run here because we're trying to save our stuff for this big show. And they don't want nobody to see their stuff or see how good their cars are. And it's always interesting.
Or maybe they're just saving equipment.
It's so different with stuff going on. It's like I haven't raced anywhere because we're building a new car and want to do some stuff. And I was like, my wife says, hey, you need to take a couple weeks off here. We got a lot going on. So, but there's things that happen, and you don't see people on big strides or big momentums for a very long time. So Phelps coming back on it's going to be interesting in the big block world where that ends up.
Absolutely. Well, my fun fact of the week. unfortunately, we always hear about racetracks shutting down.
Yeah.
State Line Speedway in New York was one of them.
Yep.
Insurance issues, whatever happened there, they shut down. They've announced that they're reopening for one race this year in September. It's just going to be a regular show, nothing fancy. But the rumor is that there's new owners possibly for next year.
Really?
So we have a good friend, Matthew Dillner, who does his Lost Speedways calendar, which is so cool. And this month is phenomenal right now. It's in Indiana, a Jungle Speedway. Yeah, that's a really cool one. That's this month. But he has a cool calendar. So that's at least one more that won't be on the calendar. They
can check out lostspeedways.com. But we hate seeing racetracks shut down. And you do see it, folks all over. Everybody's like, oh, you know, this place isn't that good or this. And the thing that amazes me, a little spat here before we go to break, social media, people say, oh, it kills it, it helps it. Look, I love it because, you know, like this weekend we were going to go to a local track, it had rained. We go, hey, let's kind of see what's going on there. And I can just follow, or you were following on social media, and we could see what was going on, and we started heading there and then ended up canceling before we got there. But the thing is what people don't realize is a lot of us that are racers, race fans, whatever, we kind of heard it too, because when something's bad, they want to go on there and they want to post all this stuff. And what they don't realize is that the actual friends they have, or maybe the fans that aren't there or in that area, they go, well, I don't really want to go to that place, you know, or go. So the negative, if there's a way just to filter it, you know, and I know it's
good luck figuring that out.
There's times I want to press send or whatever, and I go, I need not to. But the thing is that the own diehard fans are kind of hurting it a little bit, but it is a good tool. It's great to use.
It's helpful as long as you use it in the right manner.
Periscope,
Don't
all these,
hide behind
all
your
this
computer
stuff.
screen.
Yes, I mean it's just like Knoxville, and again, our hearts are with the Swindell family. You know, with Kevin getting hurt this weekend and keeping up with it and everything you've been able to follow, and it just helps quite a bit. So,
absolutely.
Anyways, we gotta go to break.
Well, speaking of how you run things, Brett Root will be up next here on Slingin Dirt on MRN.com.
Slingin Dirt returns in 1 minute on MRN.com.
Dale Jr. here. I wear Wrangler Advanced Comfort jeans for any occasion. With new styles and great fits, you'll look good and feel comfortable anytime, anywhere.
Wrangler Advanced Comfort jeans are built with a U-shaped construction, so they give you more room where you need it. And their 4-way flex technology moves with you for all-day comfort.
In the garage or out and about, Wrangler knows the ins and outs of comfort. Wrangler, real comfortable jeans.
Here comes Jimmy Johnson to the bottom of the racetrack.
Where will you be when NASCAR revisits the Windy City?
Matt Kenseth has won Chicagoland.
16 drivers begin their fight for the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series Championship.
Here comes Harvick up the middle.
When I kick off my quest for back-to-back championships.
Chicagoland Speedway is the place to be September 18th through the 20th when all 3 NASCAR series begin their championship run. Reserve your seats today. Call 888-629-RACE or visit chicagolandspeedway.com. Chicagoland Speedway.
The chase starts here.
This is Slingin Dirt on MRN.com. Now back to Ashley and David Stremme.
This is Slingin Dirt. We're the Stremmes, not you. We are. Plus, I'm struggling this morning.
I can tell
lack
that.
of sleep. Let me tell
lack
you.
of going to the racetrack is what I'm going to say.
Listen, I watched the Knoxville Nationals all weekend. I just wasn't there. I would have loved to have been, but I watched it all weekend. But our next guest on the line now, he's the head honcho for the IMCA sanctioning body. It's Brett Root. Welcome to the show, Brett.
Thank you, Ashley. My pleasure.
So January of this year, you were announced the boss man, the head honcho, the president, whatever you want to call it, of the IMCA, taking up after your mother, which is so cool, I think. Tell me, I mean, you've obviously followed in her footsteps and learned a lot from her. How has these last, what month are we in, August now, 8 months been?
Challenging, somewhat challenging. I mean, I've been at IMCA for 18 years now, so the capacity at which my mother ran the association, some of that I obviously was well versed on. Some of it, the business aspects and things. I've been forced to learn a little bit more, but in general, not much here has changed for me, and obviously, I don't think much has changed for our association. I've been here for so long that I know the ins and outs of it, and it's just to me, it's just, I tell people it's just been a title change. So, basically, but I'm able to make it work. I guess I'll put it that way.
Brett, with having I guess you'd say a family business and being involved, and we've had family racers on here like Devin Moran and Bobby Pierce and all these guys, and it's always interesting because as you've taken over and your mother had it and for so many years, does she ever come back and say, hey, I think you need to look in this direction, or how is her advice kind of with you, or does she just let you just kind of go free roam?
That's an interesting question because I kind of, there's been a lot, and we've got a lot of history at IMCA dating back to 100 years ago to 1915. But when you get into the modern era of IMCA with Keith Kanak and his vision of affordable racing with the IMCA modified in the late 70s and the early 80s, my mother was here for all of that. She was here for the very initial stages of the IMCA modified. So I would liken her or compare her to being kind of old school on how she views the modified division. But she was here from the very ground level when it got started. I came into IMCA in '97 when it was probably well at its peak of popularity. The '90s were very, very instrumental for the division. So she was here for that. And I came in toward the end of that. And I've been here since '97, and she definitely had a different approach, a different look on things at times. But at the same time, I think that we've balanced each other well. I've always took her advice and trying to keep the race cars affordable, trying to keep well within our philosophy at IMCA, but at the same time letting the sport evolve to the point to where the competitors and the fans enjoy it and still want to enjoy it. There's a fine line there between keeping things affordable so much that you end up with vintage race cars versus letting the car evolve a little bit with the times and go along with some of that evolution and keep the racers and the fans interested in what you have to offer as a product.
Yep. A lot of racers forget that it is an entertainment, and you got to look at what's best for everybody instead of just their own specifics. But we'll talk a little bit about this Boone Nationals. I've never been there, and obviously we're going to head there this year and hang out. We got some customers running, and Strickler will be in the house car. They talk about this show, and there's, over 600 cars come to this event?
Actually, it's over 800. Last year we had, I think, right at 870 total cars in 6 divisions.
So they have vendors there. But talk about some of the classes, and because I hear about this, and people actually told me they're diehard race fans. They said, look, you will get tired of the racing, watching racing. You'll go back and be like, maybe for 6 hours, not go back to the track. But talk a little bit about the environment and everything, and for some of the people that don't know about it.
The Super Nationals for us is like our Daytona 500. IMCA has over 8,000 racers turning laps somewhere at a dirt track across the United States every weekend. So for us, it's like our Daytona 500, like our Super Bowl, so to speak. And it's a real good snapshot of what we have to offer race fans and the racing industry in general when it comes to dirt track racing. It always starts on Labor Day. It always goes basically 6 nights of racing. The division itself, the event itself, we host 6 divisions that run at different times over the course of the week. The division, we have so many cars from, we'll get like 70 sport compacts or Hornets or front wheel drive cars is what some people call them. And that's probably we'll run late models, we'll get about 50 of those. But, then we get 300 modifieds and 200 stock cars and 150 hobby stocks. And so over the course of that 6 days, we've got to have a format that accommodates the numbers of competitors that are going to be competing in each division. So we spread it out, and it's different every day. We have qualifying all week long for most of the divisions, and then our finale is on Saturday night, September 12th this year. We'll run all of our feature events for hobby stocks, sport mod, stock cars, and modifieds. Our 4 largest divisions.
Tell me what it takes to prepare for this week, knowing that you have not only that many cars, but you figure at least 5 people per car plus all your fans in the stands. How do you coordinate? How does it flow? What do you do to make this successful and flow smoothly for everybody that goes there?
A lot of preparation. The logistics of the event itself are probably the most challenging. Just accommodating all of the race cars that come, and we'll have on some of those days, like on Wednesday, we'll have 500 cars on the racetrack over the course of the night.
Wow!
So you have to have a pit area that accommodates 500 haulers. That becomes challenging. A lot of musical parking stalls. We're constantly organizing who's in and who's out, when they come in, when they go out, that kind of stuff from the competitor standpoint. And then you've got all the fans too that bring a whole other set of issues with them. We have a camping lot there that is basically become almost a city. I think we'll have probably anywhere between 500 or 600 campers this year that are on the grounds as well. So, managing all of that, it is very, very challenging, but, we've got a great staff here. We handle much of the racing stuff, the on-track stuff, like the format and things like that, the race car rules, some of the basic stuff with the competitors. We handle a lot of that. But then Boone Speedway has a fantastic staff, and they address the parking, the camping, and a lot of the stuff that facility-wise they have to deal with. So it's a combination of both their staffs and our staffs at IMCA, and months of preparation.
With having it at Boone, have you ever thought of, because as it gets larger and larger each year, and like you said, accommodating so many, not just the fans, competitors, have you ever thought about moving it somewhere? I mean, I personally don't want to see it move, but is it something where you come to a point and you go, man, this is so big, we got to do something a little different?
Well, that definitely is an issue. I mean, have we thought about moving it? Not lately. The event actually moved around for about the first 10 years. Went to places like Knoxville. Actually, we had the Super Nationals at Knoxville Raceway one year. We've had it, locally here at Independence Speedway and Mason City and a couple other racetracks throughout the state of Iowa. It kind of found its home at Boone Speedway. And, the issues that the Super Nationals create for Boone Speedway are pretty obvious. I mean, when you bring in that volume of cars and that volume of people, it's like system overload. It's like we're stuffed to the capacity. But we've done our best every year to try to, and Boone Speedway has, to accommodate the volume of people that are coming with catwalks and additional seating. And it is about a month's worth of preparation just at Boone Speedway, just changing the speedway. They bring in lots of temporary seating that isn't there on a weekly basis, some temporary grandstands. They're in the process right now of building more grandstands in the pit area as I speak. So I mean, it's the grounds itself. We've got about 80 acres, so I think that we still got room to expand. But moving it to another facility, again, the same issues are going to apply, and I think it would probably create more issues for us to try to move it, because we've kind of got into a routine now where we know what to expect, what the facility can and can't do for us, and how to adapt on our end here. And Boone has just kind of become home for the Super Nationals. It really has. It's such a good picture of what dirt track racing has to offer on a weekly basis that for us it's just a good fit.
The town also gets behind it pretty big too with everything. And I know, just again, I haven't been there this year, be first time, but what I've seen on watching on the internet and stuff, they do a phenomenal job at turning the track and accommodating as many competitors that come in, not only at the track, but the town also, and basically that whole area.
Yeah, the population of Boone, I think, is right around 15,000, and we'll probably have that, I would say, Saturday night out at the racetrack. So, I mean, it's a lot like some of the other, big races create for small communities. Fortunately for us, the city of Boone, the police chief, their fire chief, and their local officials, the mayor, they've been very supportive of the event. They know the impact that this event has on their community, so they don't give us a lot of hassles. Whereas some other communities aren't really at times as welcoming to racing. You get into sound issues, you get into curfews and some of those other things. And the city of Boone hasn't placed any of that on us. They've been very accommodating for us, and we do our best to be a friendly business and support the community as well, and support all the businesses and encourage all of our race fans and all of our racers when they come to Boone to patronize those businesses in the community of Boone.
Absolutely. When you come into a place like that, it generates so much revenue from outsiders coming into town. How many people, I'm assuming the track has their people as well, but total under the umbrella of what you all do on a weekend, how many people do you have working there to make everything go smooth?
Oh, boy, it's a lot. When you consider the concession stand help, the gate help, just all the general help that we have with campgrounds and things like that. It's I think one time we added up, it was just right at 200, a little over 200 people, 220 employees.
That's
with
awesome.
And I want to get a real quick question in here before we let you go. With dirt racing, growing, and I think it's definitely on the uprise of across the country. What is the biggest challenge you foresee in the future, or something that is on the horizon? You go, hey, we have to tackle this.
For us, it's consistently been trying to reel in the cost of the race car as an association. Just try to keep the race cars affordable for the competitors, and that has been our focus. And I really think that's been our success story as well. It's been, I think, the reason why we are the largest participant-based association in the United States. We focus solely on dirt track racing. We don't do a lot of pavement stuff here at IMCA anymore. And we just focus on doing what we know and doing it as best as we possibly can, and giving the racers the opportunity to be able to afford these race cars and then put them on the racetrack and put on entertaining racing that fans can afford to come watch as well. So the ticket prices are all within reason, and the purses are within reason that the racers are competing for. And to me, that's the key. When it starts to get out of control expense-wise, you start losing competitors. They take their family and their friends and their fans with them to go do something else, and the whole sport suffers. So, that's been our goal, is to maintain that philosophy of keeping the cars in check.
Well, I totally agree with that, and my hat's off to you guys, because as I'm learning this dirt, and I love modified racing, and we'll get out there and run some IMCA stuff here in our future, but it's something that I love it because on a technical side and affordability, it's there. You guys treat everybody the same, and I wish a lot of other series and sanctioning bodies would see that also. But look forward to meeting you out there and seeing what this event's about at the Boone Nationals, and we really appreciate you taking time out and coming on our show here.
Yeah, I can't thank you enough for the opportunity. Again, the race is on. It always starts on Labor Day. This year it's September 7th, which is about a week late from what we usually start. But September 7th through the 12th, and it's going to be obviously we want any fan to come out and enjoy it. It's hard to explain what it's like to be there, but
we need to move that.
You can always watch online.
We need to move that a week forward because it's World 100 weekend, and it kind of cut into my World 100 plans. But
it has always been that way, and unfortunately,
it'll always be that way.
Always be that
we
way.
need to get on Roger Slack then. We're going to have to. We got to move one of them. But.
Hey, Brett, real quick, you mentioned the online. Where can our listeners watch it pay-per-view weekend?
We'll do it through Race Feed X, IMCA.tv. So the best thing to do is the easiest thing to remember is just go to IMCA's website at www.imca.com. And from there, we'll steer you to the broadcast, and you'll be able to watch it on a daily basis if you want to, or we'll also have a discounted rate for the entire week.
Awesome. Perfect.
Awesome.
Thank you, Brett. We appreciate what you do for dirt racing.
Thank you.
Thanks for being on the show. Billy Pauch Jr. joins us next here on Slingin Dirt on MRN.com.
Slingin Dirt returns in 1 minute on MRN.com.
Ready to take the training wheels off your race scanner? Go to fanvision.com and upgrade your experience with FanVision. Not only will you be able to hear the race,
Dale Earnhardt Jr. gets a good run, drafting help from Kyle Busch and Kevin Harvick. Jr. again pulls up alongside for the race lead.
You'll see every moment through live video, instant replays, live stats, and more.
Hi, I'm Jamie McMurray, driver of the #1 Cessna Chevrolet, and I never go to the track without my FanVision. So go to fanvision.com to rent or buy yours today.
Hi, this is Eli Gold, the host of NASCAR Live. We've been taking your calls every Tuesday night for over 30 years, but now you don't have to wait for Tuesday. Call Motor Racing Network's fan hotline at 844-4-ASK-MRN.
I think Kyle Busch should be able to step right in and run for the championship if he gets a win. Just like any other sports figure, they're out for part of the season because of an injury. They come in, they win the championship, they win the trophy.
Be a part of the voice of NASCAR. Call 844-4-ASK-MRN.
This is Slingin Dirt on MRN.com. Now back to Ashley and David Stremme.
Welcome back to Slingin Dirt. We're your hosts, Ashley and David Stremme. Now on the line, he drives just about anything. He picked up the win and the championship at Kutztown and the win at New Egypt Speedway. It's Billy Pauch Jr. Welcome to the show, Billy.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure to talk to the dynamic duo.
Yes, you too, PPJ. I miss you, bud.
How's everyone doing down there?
We are great. How are you doing up there?
Not too bad. When you have a good weekend, it makes life a lot easier. But the problem is when you race so much, you race tonight, so you got to keep it going.
You're racing tonight? Where are you racing at?
I'm running in Spring Run, PA at Path Valley, where we're taking out the midgets to run the USAC midgets tonight.
Okay, so
I love
I did
Path
say
Valley.
that
Never been there, but I love Path Valley.
Never been there, but I love Path Valley. That's
It just
hilarious.
looks like a racy track. Fred Raymer has his deal there.
He is 100%. It is one of the raciest little tracks. I think I've only ran there 4 times. I've won all 4 times, but this is a little different when like Rico and Clausen are coming in, so you got to be on top of your A game for this one.
You make sure you give Clausen a hard time for me.
I'll make sure I'll tell him David sends his hard luck.
Yes.
I love it. So, Billy, you've raced just about everything in your life, probably including wheelbarrows. I mean, this weekend you picked up the win at Kutztown in a Speedster, which is like a sprint or a USAC car / what is a Speedster?
It's like to me it's like a miniature Silver Crown car. It drives like a Silver Crown car, and that's what kind of Richie designed it around. And it's a really neat concept he's got going on there. We get 30 to 35 on Wednesday nights, and we still happen to have our big show on a Sunday, which paid $5,000 to win. And he normally pays $2,000 weekly there on a Wednesday night. And
Wow.
It's a lot of fun.
I can honestly say I didn't know what a Speedster was.
So
let
me ask you this. He's an open wheel guy and push start cars, I call him. And you got him on the Slingin Dirt show. He should be on Wing Nation next.
Well, here's the thing, though. Saturday night at New Egypt Speedway, he picked up the win.
I know.
I'm modified.
I'm recognize you as one of them. What do they call them things? A nickname for them? The
oh boy.
I know there's center steers or what is it?
Center steers or something like that. So
Mud
you
something.
Guys would know him. You
Mud
guys
buses.
know Danny Bone.
Is that it? Mud buses or something?
Mud buses, mud turtles.
I like them. Hey, listen, I'm a big block fan, and that's what I recognize you as, not all this other stuff, you know?
Well, that's the case on it, you know what I mean? And now I know you're an IMCA superstar now. So we had a kid, I know you guys know down there, Danny Bone. He come up and drove their modified these past couple of weeks, and he goes, these things drive totally different than them IMCA cars. He said, I never drove one, so you don't know the comparison, you know?
Yeah. I look... And maybe sometime I'd like getting in one, but I love watching them. They do look very, very difficult, especially. Will you be in one at the World Finals here in Charlotte?
I just ordered my tires. I'll be down there for that.
Awesome. Well, then I can't wait.
Just ordered
you
my
let
tires.
me know. I'll come over. I want some engineering techniques from you. They say you're a heck of an engineer.
A redneck
if you
engineer.
Make Kyle Strickler look good. You got to be good.
Yeah. Well, if you need anything when you're in town, you come by the shop for sure. But
I appreciate it. I'm gonna come in a day early. I want to check out the lethal shop.
Yeah,
anyway.
come on by. But what is so out of all these cars you drive, what's the most difficult one?
To be honest with you, the most difficult one. That's a tough call, you know. When I tried to run wing sprints, they're definitely difficult. I mean, we won a race or two, but that's something you got to do all the time. And I'm not. Ashley's gonna hate me on this. I'm not they're tough to drive, but they're not as intense as like a modified or a wingless car.
Really? Wow.
To me, I love wing sprint cars, but they just don't pass as easy. You know, they're so aero dependent. You know, you run up on someone, it's so much harder to drive from 14th to win a race.
Yeah.
You know, and I love sprint cars. I grew up at Zemco. My dad, man, ran Zemco. We ran sport. I love sprint cars to the day I die.
Don't they now? Freddie Raymer's
run tougher.
Freddie Raymer's got this throwback.
His dad's in it. Maybe you should read your notes.
I seen it. I was like, man, that's awesome. And the Zemco car, this is for the next show at Wing Nation, but I like the Zemco car. I'm like, Ashley, you know, obviously Lucas Wolf made the Knoxville Nationals, and she's like, oh, that's underfunded. I'm like, man, that car hauled ass, because I remember Billy Pauch in it.
They've been pretty good, I mean, they may not be a World Valley team, but they've been around a long time, and they're definitely on top of their game. And that's like you said, for the next show. But it's a different aspect of it.
I want to ask you. We're going to step away from racing because I'm a little excited about this part. I know that I talked to you probably 2 years ago, and that's when you decided that you needed to get a real job and then race on the weekends.
What?
Yeah.
He decided
Jeez,
that.
Al.
Well, it was really cool because
Hard on this guy.
No, I love BPJ, but I loved where his head was at because he's like, look, you can't really make a living in racing like they used to 10 years ago, and I respected what you had to say about that, Billy. But now you're going to be a papa.
Yeah.
Really?
And
yes. We've been married for 2 years now, so.
And I'm excited because Michelle's the cutest little pregnant woman ever. But
I almost commented. There was a thing a while ago about where you said I got special news. I almost said nothing new in the Stremme household, is there?
No, not for a while.
We have 3 furry ones. That cuts into my racing. What are you talking about?
Yeah, that's what I said. That's what worried me about it. You know what I mean? But I also didn't want to be one of them guys that was like 45 when I had my first kid, too.
That's going to be David Stremme.
That'll be me.
So that's my next question, where we're going here. Are we still going to race, or are we going to...
No, we're still going to race.
Okay,
we're
good.
going to race as much... I mean, right now I race 3 nights a week, plus we have a full-time job on it, but you start to look at it, unless you get into like the chassis business or that side of the aspect of racing, it's tough to do it as a driver. I mean, you can make it, I won 15 races last year, and maybe I took in 30,000-40,000 a year. From a driver's standpoint, you can't live off of that in this world,
Mm-hmm.
Plus,
that's the way I'd like to live.
Get hurt or something. But how about your dad? What kind of advice is he giving you? And is he happy he's going to be a grandpa?
Yeah, he's happy. We both said we're buying golf clubs, though.
Everybody says that, but I'm going to tell you. And he probably said that when you were born, but it's very hard. And it's funny because a lot of the people we have on the show are second, third generation into the racing family and that. And it's hard to get that out. But do you even know what you're going to have yet? Is it going to be a female?
We're gonna have a boy.
Oh, wow. See, it's destined.
Wait, hold on.
It's destined.
But Michelle's probably going to hate me for this. But is it going to be BP2?
Well, technically, see, you got to watch because I'm not a junior. So if I name the kid,
you're not?
Again, no, my middle names are different. We never put. If I went without the junior on the car, no one would ever recognize the difference.
Gotcha. I didn't know that. See, I learned something about you today.
That's good.
Yes, and I you want to know how long I've known Ashley David? I known her since before she was in this motorsports. Now, that's
wow.
Before she was something. That's what I thought.
That whole Miss Motorsports Club is something else I've learned. And
well, yes,
I've never made
it.
Never made it to the area auto racing because I'm always busy getting ready or doing something, but maybe I'll have to make it there this year. But
Billy had to escort
make it up or something, but that's a tough time of the year because you're building cars.
Yes, we are busy. But anyways, so you're coming to Charlotte. What else do you have? Obviously Syracuse is coming up. You pretty excited about that?
We're pretty excited about that. I'm not 100% positive if I'm doing Syracuse this year or not. It's the last one. It's a neat deal, but it just costs you $30,000-$40,000 to go run for not enough money in my book.
So we need to find you a sponsor or what?
I don't know. We'll have to see. You know what I mean? Let's see what happens. It's just a lot of time and effort into it. I got 2 more races. We won the Kutztown Championship. I'm leading at Big Diamond, and then we're close at New Egypt. So we got a couple more races, and then we got $25,000 to win at Grandview coming up, and it's we got to concentrate on some of that, and then we'll see what happens.
Boy, the last one you got to be there. I remember watching your dad run the sprint cars there, and I mean, it was.
Yeah. You ever been there?
Never been there. I mean, on TV. I want to go this year.
David's never been anywhere, but he loves that track.
Everybody goes. They say, "Hey, what are you doing? Do you miss the Cup stuff?" And I'm going, listen. Honestly, and a lot of my friends in the NASCAR industry, they're like, I'm so jealous because I'm gonna go to Boone Nationals. I wanted to go to the World 100, but we're gonna go to Knoxville. But there's a lot of races that I want to hit and go visit, and I've told the wife Syracuse is one of them. I want to go up there, driving for Mike Hillman Sr. a little bit there, and he's told me a lot of the stories, and I'm just like,
oh yeah,
I just want to watch it, and
it's worth seeing. So, what was I going to say? What surprised me and caught me off guard? I was just listening to the guy that had you on the show before, and I was looking at that Boone, and now that's an impressive deal. I guess they get a ton of cars off board.
Yep.
I've never been. I've heard about it. What caught me off guard is you run that whole weekend. It doesn't really pay a ton to win, though, does it?
Well, I found that out. It pays so Kyle won last year, Strickler. It pays like $2,500 or something, but IMCA has this bonus deal where every feature IMCA race you run, you get a added on prize money. So basically, I think they can win up to $5,000 if you're running IMCA a lot. But at the end of that event, they auction off your engine, and like Kyle sold his car, and I mean it's a crazy event. So it's a lot of prestige.
There is to it because I was looking at that, and I seen some I knew Kyle when he raced up here too, and it's a big difference from where the IMCA's run for compared to what we run for on a weekly basis.
But now the big block cars surprised me, just like you're racing tonight. They got, you're not running big block car night, but there's a lot of races like, I'll talk to Hearn or somebody, and I'm like, hey, like that Shepherd. Everybody's always talking about how they're racing during the week. I'm like, wow, it's crazy.
We do a lot of racing up here, but there's still a lot of racetracks up here. You know what I mean? Down by you, North Carolina. There's only a couple up in the Carolina. There's not a ton of dirt tracks around anymore, is there?
No, there's some, but it is very different. Indiana, where I'm from, you could race on asphalt 12 tracks within an hour and a half, and that's what it seems like there. And the other thing I tell people up north, like, in New York, PA area, you only have a certain amount of times a year that you can run, and that's what it's very different. But, it's something that amazes me with the big block cars. I go, man, them guys, they'll race all the way down from Delaware all the way up, But it's kind of weird because they don't really go up into Vermont or New Hampshire area.
It's weird. We never really ventured off. Like we're just so northeast located. You don't see a ton of races outside this area just because it's so focused on it. You get out of this area, it's late model driven.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
and that's a big difference.
I hope you're at Syracuse, and if there's a car owner or somebody, a sponsor, I wouldn't say sponsor, somebody that wants to help and partner up with Billy Pauch Jr. or Billy, what's your middle name?
Sebastian.
Sebastian.
That's
so Billy Sebastian
What's
Pauch.
your dad's middle name?
Leroy.
Leroy.
I like Sebastian better, but anyways.
Sebastian or Leroy, and my dad would name me after my grandfather, so I ended up with Sebastian.
I like it. There's nothing wrong with that, but we need to get you at Syracuse, and I really hope to. I know you'll be around there, but man,
hopefully something works out, and we'll see what happens. I do have some discussion about it, so we'll see what happens. But the thing is that if I want to go, I want to do it right. I'd like to do stuff 100%. You know what I mean? That's the key to anything. The days of just going to do something are kind of blown past.
Hey, real quick, because we have our next guest on, and he's waiting, but I want to ask you, obviously your dad had a lot of success, and you've kind of built your own name and done stuff. Do you feel still any pressure? Fans come up, or it's just like, hey, I'm
You're
my own guy?
You're the kid's kid.
It's tough. You like last night, I think it was like my 50th win overall in my career, which is 10 years. It's pretty good for a career so far.
Billy, how old are you?
I'm 28 now.
Okay.
So it's going to be, it's like you're never going to win 720 races. So no matter what, it's going to be the way the pressure is, and you just drive it the best you can. And if people don't like it, it is what it is. You know what I mean? It's like you're born into a basketball family. You're going to get opportunities. But I always take it the way it is, and it's kind of funny. It came in circles this winter. I helped my dad get his ride this winter through. I actually got it for him, so it was like, oh shit, different times in your career,
That's awesome.
Love it. Well, that's what it's all about in a racing family. You got to scratch each other's back to get where you need to go.
Exactly.
You ever spin your dad out?
We kind of got into a couple quarrels where we
Really?
talked for a couple of days. My mom refused to go to races for a while.
Wow.
I love it.
Wow.
Yeah,
Well,
you ever run against your dad?
yes, and my mother, and
Ooh, did you ever
yes.
get did you get to the point where you're both battling for a win?
I'll tell you a quick story here, real quick. I never raced against my dad a lot, but my mother I did, and we went out and we didn't really race a lot against each other as a whole family. We went out and we said, all right, we're going to race for a hot dog here down, in warm-ups or practice, and there's no, wall down the backstretch, and I'm like passing my mom. My dad stuck me 3 wide and run me off the track. So if that tells you anything, but we did, it is different for people that don't know about racing against their parents and doing stuff, but at the end of the day, it's still blood, and like you said, you got your dad a ride, and I think it's awesome.
It's still blood. We might argue, we might fight, but we're the most competitive family, but in the end, it's still your family.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And I can't wait for that little one to be behind a go-kart here in the next few years.
Exactly. Someday about that, I'm sure first time I see Ashley, they'll be excited. So.
Well, we want to make sure, again, I'm gonna tweet out, we got to get you some help, or I want to see you at Syracuse, all right?
All right, man, I appreciate it, and thank you for having me on today.
Absolutely, and tell Michelle I said hello.
All right, will do.
Awesome.
You guys enjoy your day.
Thanks, Billy. You too.
Thanks. Bye.
I love that kid.
He is a good guy, and I mean, it's just his perspective on life and stuff is great. But also our next guest, he's waiting for us. We're going to take a little break here. But Shannon Babb, who is the topless winner, and excited to have him on here. What do you have to say next?
He joins us on MRN.com.
Slingin' Dirt returns in 1 minute on MRN.com.
Dale Jr. here. I wear Wrangler Advanced Comfort jeans for any occasion. With new styles and great fits, you'll look good and feel comfortable anytime, anywhere.
Wrangler Advanced Comfort jeans are built with a U-shaped construction, so they give you more room where you need it. And their 4-way flex technology moves with you for all-day comfort.
In the garage or out and about, Wrangler knows the ins and outs of comfort. Wrangler, real comfortable jeans.
This is Steve Post.
And I'm Kendra Jacobs.
Join us every Saturday morning at 9:30 Eastern Time for MRN's Wing Nation on MAV TV.
We'll talk with the biggest names in wing sprint car racing, from the world of outlaws to your local wing sprint car track. We cover it all.
Plus, we'll preview each weekend's biggest wing sprint car races from around the country.
MRN's Wing Nation, 9:30 Eastern Time, Saturday mornings on MAV TV.
If you don't get MAV TV, go to getmavtv.com to find your local TV provider and let them know you want MAV TV.
This is Slingin' Dirt on MRN.com. Now back to Ashley and David Stremme.
Welcome back. We're the Stremmes, and you're listening to Slingin' Dirt. Joining us now is the winner of the $40,000 payday. He's your Topless 100 winner, and I'm going to butch this up. It is Shannon, the Mawika Missile Babb. Is that right, Mawika?
Mawikwa. Yeah.
Mawikwa.
Yeah, you was close enough. It sounds pretty good.
Kind of like Shaniqua, but not.
What is that? Is that where you're from?
Where he's from.
Oh. Yeah, that's the town. That's the name of the town, Mawikwa. I think it's the only one around.
Well, hey, I was excited that you got this big win. I was like, and I'm going to be honest, you were off my radar on this. I thought, Davenport's been on a roll, or Plumer and all, and I was like, hell yeah, I loved it. I mean, it's your second win. Does it make it any
topless
more,
win?
Yeah, second topless win. Does it make it any more special, or tell us about it?
It does. I was the sort of the same way as you were. Going down there, we're riding along, and we're like, man, we're going down here to run maybe top 5. If we can get fifth, we'll be happy. But Davenport's been on a roll, just murdering everybody, and Bloomquist is always tough down there. But we've had some good runs at Batesville. We've just kind of always been in the show, and we make a top 10 out of it, but just couldn't get there. And we've learned a lot through the years running those 100-lap races there. So this time, our car was really good from the start, and paced myself, and it turned out with the win. It was awesome.
You started 13th, and I think you just had the last transfer spot in the heat. How many cars were there this weekend? I didn't even look.
I think there was over 60 cars there.
60, that's pretty impressive.
And the pressure is on. They take 3 out of the heats. There's 6 heats, and we started 4th and ran 3rd. So we got in there, and like you said, it's if you just get in the show, you can 100 laps. You can wiggle your way up through there. The track was really good.
Wiggle your way. What did you have your Club 29 car?
Yeah, I did.
And
that was something else. It was this was the 4th time that we've raced it, and we've won twice with it now. So it's really good to us. Ed Petroff, my main sponsor, he has a real good eye for the cars and where they run good at. And he told me, he said, "You'd be crazy, Babb, if you didn't take it down there to the Topless." I'm like, well, I don't know much about it, but I'm going to take it. So it was fast right out of the box.
Is he a lot of help for you getting your car where you need it to be?
Yeah, he is. He's a ton of help. Like I said, he's been involved in racing for a long time, and he knows everyone. He sits back and he just watches and sees what goes on, and sometimes when we have our nose to the grindstone, we can't really see what's happening, and he can really view that pretty well.
What with your schedule coming up, because I need to get a new T-shirt. I didn't get one when we were at Falls, and I wore your old. God, that thing was probably.
It stank. It smelled like closet.
Listen, it was back when you drove a Rayburn car. But
there you go. Yeah.
Anyways, what's some of your scheduling? Because I know you just kind of hit or miss shows. Are you gonna try to run maybe like the Portsmouth race? You gonna go to the Hillbilly, or are you just gonna stick around more in the Midwest there?
Yeah, we're definitely going to do Portsmouth at the end of the year. We're going to do the World 100 and the Knoxville Nationals, and in between those, there's some races here at Peebly, Missouri, that are some local races that pay real well. So, yeah, we're going to hit the big ones, and maybe I'll see you at that.
Yo,
I'll get you a T-shirt for sure.
I got to try and make this Knoxville one because I got to go work here in a couple weeks, and I was going to try to make it to the World. But,
yeah,
what's interesting, I seen you at Fairbury, and it was like every name and, late model driver seemed like they were there. And
oh, yeah.
It's like that about any, and then you had like Kevin Weaver won that, what they call that, the Dash on Friday or something.
Yeah.
Talk about that Illinois crowd, or I call it the Missouri, Illinois, Minnesota, kind of that whole area, Wisconsin. It's pretty stout with late model drivers.
It is. It's, Moyer always told me, if you can come in this neck of the woods and run good, you've done something, because the racetracks, they go through every scenario that you can imagine. So you have to know your car really well. The tracks, like a Fairbury, they start wet and hooked up, and, you got to be able to maneuver and be free, and then it goes to slick, and then it just gets slicker. So,
and the cushion like the skyscraper.
Yeah. You got to be able to run wide open with a cushion. And the guys around here, they've developed that pattern. They can get up on the wheel early, and then they know when to flip the switch and then calm down and drive straight and smooth later on in the night. So there is a lot of tough guys here in the Midwest, no doubt about it.
Even that, I call it Granite City, or what is Gundaker's track? They call it. What is it?
Gundaker's. Yeah.
It's a phenomenal place there, and it's. I look at that, and do you feel that area's, like you went to Batesville, which is by no shy. There was a lot of tough competition there. You think running up there, that Hell Tour and everything made you better?
It does. It really does. We raced a lot of nights right in a row, and we've been to Batesville since '98. We go down there once a year, so we don't have, it's not like it's our hometown track, but we haven't been there before. But even like Brandon Shepard, he got in the top 5 at Batesville this year, and it was his first time there. But he's a local guy around the Midwest here, and there definitely is some tough guys around here. And
with the schedule coming up, what's some of the places or a place that say you haven't ever been that you would like to go to?
Well, believe it or not, I haven't been to Portsmouth in the Dirt Track World Championships coming up. Yeah, I've never been to that.
Wow.
So I watched the videos, and like any dirt track, I think it's right up my alley. So
it looks
$100,000 to win this year. That'd be a good one to win.
We went there a couple weeks ago, and Gilpin was there, and it was crazy because they said it was flooded, and my wife tweeted a picture. It was like underwater for 3 weeks or something. And when we were there, it was pretty slick and dry. It was rocky, but it was really rough. And they had a late model went flipping there. I was like, wow. But it was actually a pretty racy place. And it was neat. The environment, the fans, everything. I think it'll definitely – it's probably like I'm not going to say it's like a Fairbury-type dirt, but it's that middle Illinois area. But it's a cool event. So that'll be neat to see you there, and I think you'll do very well.
Just make sure –
that'd be cool.
Just make sure you go, once you go across the scales, you need to go to the little tech barn that they have. It's important that you go there, okay? That's my one word of advice.
She's busting my ass
going there for
right
the
now.
first time.
She's busting my ass right now. So, anyways, have you ever won a heat race and then just had a brain fart or something, didn't go across scales, or go to a tech and you got disqualified for just something stupid?
Yeah, I have. I've done that just recently. Last year, I was leading it sort of the same way. I was leading a heat race, a good race. I led all the way to the white flag lap and pulled in.
Wow.
And I was driving in the sun, and the flagman was just a black blob, and I seen him throwing the flags, and then those guys got on me pretty hard. I was like, hey,
well,
never said I was perfect.
That's why, I watch these sprint car guys, and I'm like, why do they? They go an extra lap or two.
Yeah.
And I think what it is
just in case.
They can't even see because them wings and everything else, they just run her until everybody's like, hey, all right, checker flags out.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a little, but I could see that happening very easy with this. Some of these places, that's what you go to, and you're like, oh man, this track runs east and west, and in the fall it's difficult, you know.
Oh, that's right. That's exactly right.
Well, Shannon, you have several. I want to get back on the racing side of things here. We're just BSing at this point. You have several crown jewel wins. It's been almost 12 years since you won this race. Is there a crown jewel that you're missing that you would like to add to your list?
Oh, you know how it is. There's always a big race that you're after. I would really like to win the World 100. I mean, I did actually win it one year, but I was light in 05. We come back in 06, and we ran second. We led it, but you know, as years go by, these things are getting harder to get a hold of, and everyone just keeps getting tougher and tougher. And just like when I was at the top of the other day, I said, take a picture of this because I don't know if this is ever going to happen again, you know.
Oh, so, you got plenty more coming.
Yeah.
Well, this is momentum.
Yeah, it is. We're pumped up about the new car, and it don't take much. Like you said, you have to find something and just ride the momentum and stay in there. And 100 laps a long ways, and you never can tell what's happen.
Hey, when you brought up, you know, being light at Eldora, and again, I'm new to a lot of this. I was always a fan, but I've heard more, you know, and obviously what happened with Bloomer, and a lot of people, they say that Eldora, it's like Earl was always like, I don't care what your scales read at home. This is my scales. This is how it is. And has it always been pretty dramatic, you know, going to the scales?
It is. Over there, it just seems to be tough because they don't have the scales open and available to you all day long. They're available to you for like right before the heat race or whatever. And you know, a guy's working on his car. He's got the thing tore apart, and he don't get a chance to get down there. And my situation is, I won the heat race and on Saturday night, but I had a valve problem, so I changed motors.
Oh.
And we were just in the nick of time getting the thing changed, the motor, getting it ready to go, and they was blowing the horn ready for us. And we took a SB2 headed engine out and put a wedge headed engine in, and it was just, you know, maybe I think it was like 15 pounds was the engine, but we burnt more fuel, and track rubbered up, and we used more tire, and we were 9 pounds light. So, you know, but you know, the scale, there's so many people over there, so many cars, the crowd, and I think anywhere you go, if they're going to have an event, they need to have an official standing there at the scales, and it should be open, you know, for 3 days straight, anytime you want to go down there and get a car.
Absolutely.
I agree with you.
Available.
I agree with you. There's a lot of tracks that they make it a big deal, so. But we'll make sure we got to wrap this up here. I don't mean cut you short, because we're going to have you on after that World 100. I want to see you win that thing, all right?
That'd be awesome. That'd be cool. I appreciate you guys having me.
And we'll make sure I'll catch up with you. Now I know some of your schedule and get a new T-shirt and that. And, again, we appreciate you being on the show.
Thank you very much. I'll definitely set you guys up.
Thank you.
Thanks, Shannon.
Bye-bye.
You know what's crazy is I look at him as he's a veteran guy, but he was very, very young when he was running around Billy Moyer and a lot of them winning races. And he won a lot of crown jewels and still – you know, I look at him as he's got a lot of racing left in him. So,
well, speaking of upcoming races, Lucas is at Volunteer in Lawrenceburg this weekend. World of Outlaw is at Atomic and Erie's. The one I'm excited about is the Ultimate Super Late Model Series. It's the 12th annual John Bradshaw Memorial at Ponderosa.
I'm gonna tell you who's gonna be tough at that.
And it's $15,021 to win.
Is either Randy Weaver or Chris Ferguson.
Ferguson
was.
He picked up 2 wins this weekend. He's gonna be tough.
He was strong. He was on a mission at that Shrine race, which was phenomenal.
Absolutely.
But
Wing Nation next. Posty and I are gonna talk about Knoxville. Thanks for joining us. We're the Stremmes.
Get well, Kevin Swindell.
Yeah, what he said. Later today, you can find Slingin Dirt in the Media Center at MRN.com.
This has been Slingin Dirt with Ashley and David Stremme. Listen every Tuesday at 11 Eastern on MRN.com for more news, interviews, and opinion from dirt tracks all over America. Slingin Dirt is a production of the Motor Racing Network. All rights reserved.